What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 15 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, after taking Brass Keep, we have given it back to Reikland, who further upgraded our Imperial authority to level 8, and we are now approaching level 10. Karl then made his way through the lands of Talabecland and towards Sylvania, wherein on the border of Talabecland he met Vlad von Karstein. A duel between the two ensued, as well as their armies, I guess. And of course Karl came out ahead, and Vlad has returned to the grave at least for a few more turns. We will be moving towards Needling shortly, but there may be a few other things that we need to do here, which we'll get to a second. We've also had some reasonably decent diplomacy here. We've taken care of Xiflin for ourselves, thanks to Durthu sacking it earlier, and are now sieging Blackstone Post as well. We could very well attack this. The only thing that worries me about this is the fact that they have the caged bats on the skeletal walls, and while I'm reasonably confident our Archlector would be able to destroy those cairn wraiths, we'd still probably take a decent amount of damage trying to get into the settlement. And really, the cairn wraiths could probably hold the walls pretty much forever, so we're probably better off just sieging the place and forcing attrition onto the enemy. Though it actually doesn't make any sense that the dead can suffer attrition at all, especially in the, I mean, maybe the crypt ghouls. Okay, the crypt ghouls do need to eat, they need flesh, but the cairn wraiths don't care. The wights very much don't care. The Graveguard wights, they could just stand for hundreds of years and keep guard. That's what they do. I don't understand why they suffer attrition in the first place. It's not like magical attrition. But anyway, I digress. We'll keep this up for a little while. We'll also see what exactly the Skaven do. But let's get back to what we need to do ourselves. So first of all, I had an idea, and you, rather than getting this handgunner here, well, we can recruit one here. Yes, it'll cost us an extra 200 gold, but it'll save us a turn by allowing Bernhardt to transfer the army to Wolfram and then move back to Altdorf. There we go. And transfer everything but one free company unit, which you can keep. Lovely. And then you afterwards can return. I guess you can stay here for now so that you don't get killed by this guy, but also because you don't have the range to get back to Altdorf. In the meantime, you... Oh, wait. You are going to move to Marienburg, and you're going to get, let's say... Arnau or Gorcel? Let's go for Gorcel, I guess. Arnau is closer to the enemy, but Gorcel does give us salt. So yeah, let's upgrade you. And let's move Recruiter back and then start recruiting those Pistoliers. I'm still very excited about the prospect of our fire while moving army with the Pistoliers and War Wagons and Huntsmen and Free Company Militia. Should be a fun time. Maybe some War Sleds if we can get them from our allies as well. Alrighty, so the rest of you guys are looking good to me. Now we have to take a look at Karl. Beston, we can't transfer for this turn either, yes? Or not Beston, Montfauc. Yeah, it looks like these guys can't reach it. Alrighty, so what I was thinking, rather than keeping Karl just here, what we could do is we could do one of the quests that he has, specifically the quest for Beast Slayer. And granted, we don't really need it right now, but hey, it's a quest that will give us more money, and more importantly, the extra casualty or punishment rate, which Karl could benefit from right now. It is also, as I recall, a very easy fight with some basic Norskins, so we should be able to do it quite quick, and get a free weapon and money and stuff out of it. So I think it is a good idea even while we're in friendly territory. In that light, we're gonna do this. I'll just see. I guess we could also do the battle for Gal Moraz, couldn't we? I mean, these do stack. I guess the question is whether we want to do them at the same time. This one looks like it'll probably be a little bit tougher, and I don't believe these are all of the enemies that come out to play either. We don't want Karl's army to actually get damaged while he's on the border of an enemy. Huh. Wait. Gal Moraz does not provide magical attacks? What the heck are you talking about, game? Why doesn't it provide magical attacks? Gal Moraz is like the most magical weapon. That's very strange. Like, it's got so many, I don't remember the number, but it's supposed to have so many dwarven runes on it that, like, runesmiths they don't even know how to put that many runes on a weapon anymore. Like, the art has been lost. It's how magical it is. And it can harm, like, demons and stuff. And in fact, I think undead can't even look upon it and stuff. Well, probably most regular undead. I'm pretty sure Vlad could, but yeah, this is a really super magical weapon. It's also blessed by several gods. It's blessed by the dwarven ancestor gods, and it's blessed by Ulrich, and it's Sigmar's hammer. This is like the... Every other weapon shouldn't be magical compared to this weapon, basically. Unless you got a weapon that's literally just made out of pure magic. If you got, like, Joff's incantation of cursed blades, then yeah, okay, that's more magical, because it doesn't exist and it's just a sword made out of magic. But that's about it. Anyway. Let's do the battle for... not Galmaraz, but Beast Slayer for now. A little mini lore rant aside. I just noticed that because we were looking for the magical attacks on the Reikland rune fang, and then we found out that it wasn't. But anyway, this can't possibly be all the Norskins that are there. There's got to be more in there. I did not read the quest, but I guess we could do it right after the battle. Here we go.
Reiklanders, hear me! The celestial wizards read the portents true. Norse raiders land on Nordland shores. We have marched many miles, but there is no distance so great that I would not gladly march it to face this, our ultimate foe. I have refused the honor of wielding the blade of our forebears thus far. I was not worthy. But should we survive this day, should we drive the ruinous tribes back across the sea, then, with your blessing, I will pick up the Reikland runefang and use it to bleed our foes, to carve my way through Sigmar's enemies. Are you with me, men of the Empire? For when the Northmen come, they will attack hard, as their despicable gods demand. We must be ready to push them back, thrust them into the sea, in defense of the Empire! Northmen must die!
Alrighty, here we go. So unfortunately, those mortars missed. Would have been nice if they had hit, but we shall see. The enemy array before us is reasonably weak. A bunch of marauders who we're frankly not that threatened by, even with our army, and damaged as it is. The enemy also has no casters on the field, so we are free to stand relatively close together. The usual simple setup with the gunners allowed to have firing lanes through our front line of greatswords, and should be pretty simple. Let's wait for the enemy to come to us. We do have our summoned unit of halberdiers, however, who are going to move out front, and if the enemy wants to charge them and do damage there, well, I won't complain about it. Alright, handgunners, do as much work as you can on this. Love that sound. And here come the bordermen as well, firing into the next unit as they try to run up. And this is the great weapon wielding a unit as well, and they're getting absolutely wrecked and are actually running off already. Mortar shots landing as the enemy moves towards our lines and does get stopped as well by the halberdiers that are out front, preventing our more valuable units from getting hurt. And the gunners continue to fire into the enemy from the sides as well. And there is a unit of enemy horsemen on the side, however, which is a little bit annoying. And we did have to move our crossbows in front just to try to fire at them. We're going to have to reposition that unit of gunners in a few seconds. But at the very least, if we kill the enemy horses, we won't have to deal with their annoyance, and the Reiksguard unfortunately can't catch them at the current time. Otherwise, it looks like this army is in pretty darn bad shape already, and the bordermen are gonna make sure that that bad shape gets so much worse. It's always nice to fight across an open field like this, because you could just get so much, you can get so much use out of your gunners and not have to worry about A, hitting your own units, or B, the little hills interrupting their line of fire. Though this will also probably be one of the last fights that we have crossbowmen in this particular army, so we do have to make good use of them while we can. Otherwise, the balance of power is very much in our favor at about 95%. The Lord is still fighting together with some Marauder horsemen on this flank. However, there are Reiksguard greatswords and halberdiers around him. He's getting gunned down by our gunners, and Karl is there on Deathclaw to knock him around as well. A single charge from Karl, and it looks like the Marauder Chieftain is out, and the only unit left on the field right now is this unit of Marauders, who is going to give chase to our handgunners. And let's see, their speed is at 40. Ooh, quite a bit faster than standard infantry speeds. Gonna have to be a little bit careful, but we do have greatswords to make sure that these guys don't get caught. The handgunners were chasing the enemy mounted units around in the hopes of killing them, or shattering them, actually. But that's okay. There we go. The Marauders are being seen off once again, and these are our Reiksguard, who are also chasing down those damn Marauder cav, and they're just going to help chase down the regular Marauders as well. Alright, well, our mortars will continue firing here, but now it's just a matter of chasing off all these units here. Making sure that they get off the map, because we've got enemy reinforcements arriving this time from this side, which may or may not be disadvantageous to the enemy, mostly because they're sort of funneled through these little impassable terrain locations, which the AI is generally, let's say, not particularly adept at dealing with. That said, we do have to react quickly before the enemy does attack our army. They did appear fairly close to us, so we do have to reposition. And here they go, coming down those hills, though mortar shots are landing and down on them, and we should have our gunners and such firing soon as well. We'll have our greatswords and our halberdiers move in to intercept them, and allow the rest of our range units to get some work done. There we go, very nice shots on the mortars, and with the summoned unit of halberds there, we don't care about the damage. More units are moving in from around this side, but the bordermen, as well as other handgunners, are in their way, and that usually means it's going to go poorly for them. Especially as these are infantry. Ooh, nice dodge of partial volley from the bordermen, though. And good job to you. Alright, looks like they're going to go around and charge our greatswords, who are going to meet them in a direct fight, allowing Karl to land in the midst of them and force them away. Our bordermen are going to continue firing on the other unit, however, which does not have our greatswords nearby and is going to see them off as well. These poor Marauders. They should really work on developing some guns. Might help with this sort of situation. Alrighty, well, there we go. And just because Khorne doesn't like guns, I really don't think Tzeentch would mind. And it looks like this reinforcing army is done. We can sort of give chase at least to the one unit here that is not yet shattered, until it does in fact shatter. And then we are going to reposition down the center just in case more enemies arrive and attack us from the center again. I didn't know how many, if any reinforcements would arrive, so just in case, I was worried and decided to reposition. Looks like the Marauder horsemen are going to move on to the field yet again, as well as some Hounds of Pestilence. I was about to say Hounds of Decay, who are going to start attacking us in the flank, but that is not all. The main enemy force, I believe, has arrived, if we don't consider this to be, or the first force to be the main enemy force, and this time they do have a Chaos Sorcerer of Metal in tow, including their Lord, so we do have to reposition reasonably quickly to deal with that nonsense. And also with these damn Marauder horses and the Hounds of Pestilence. So, reposition, allow the halberdiers to meet them in combat and take the brunt of the hits, so that these are the units that are sacrificed. There we are. And Karl can move in to help out, and so can our wizard. Or at the very least, he can debuff him. Karl is going to be allowed to land among the Marauder swords as well, which ain't, or Marauder horsemen, rather, which ain't so great. What is also for them, but what isn't so great for us, is as we are moving to intercept the enemy or to reposition our army to meet them, the enemy casts a Searing Doom right upon our... Wait, is this Searing Doom? Those look like icicles. Oh, whatever. The equivalent of Searing Doom down upon our mortars. Does Norscan Searing Doom, maybe it got recolored to be like an icy sort of thing? That would be neat. Anyway, that one spell looks like it did a lot of damage here. Or maybe it just looks like ice and it is in fact metal here. I can't tell anymore. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. What does make a difference is the fact that, yeah, our mortars lost about half their HP and one of the models of the mortars in one shot, and some of our crossbows that were nearby got hurt as well. Should have really tried to move the units away from each other as soon as the enemy showed that they had a sorcerer this time, but unfortunately we were repositioning ourselves and the units were still milling around. Repositioning ourselves from fighting the previous army. And that's okay though, at least our great swords and our Imperial foot got into position where they should be. Karl is also going to drop right on in and knock a lot of enemy units around, but mostly try to go after the enemy sorcerer to make sure that he can't cast that Searing Doom again. And in fact, he seems to be doing fairly well at it. Said sorcerer is down to half HP after a couple of hits, and it does seem like a lot of the enemy units are routing. The enemy does not want to go up here as well, which will allow us to move our bordermen to fire down from this hill and into any additional units that try to reinforce. And I love watching the explosion of all those grenade units. We definitely, I've been talking about building a explosion sort of centric army in my dwarf campaign right now with lots of satchel charges and other sort of explosive units, including outriders with grenade launches from an ally, and I feel like we should probably try to echo that in this campaign as well, and at some point build an army that's just incredibly grenade heavy with bordermen and grenade launcher units. Anyway, that is that. That was the last reinforcement, being the third army, and other than the sorcerer who did cast a hurtful spell, we didn't suffer all that much damage. I definitely think the fun in this particular fight was actually just being forced to mill around and react to being attacked from different directions. So definitely worth the fight. Alrighty, you know, that battle was, it was a lot more fun than I remember it being, with all those reinforcements coming in. By far the most damage dealt to us, in fact, I think more than the rest of the enemy units combined, other than you, but I think that was to our summoned halberdiers, was due to this Chaos Sorcerer. That one cast of Searing Doom destroyed 2 mortars and heavily damaged that artillery piece. Definitely got to be careful about enemy wizards, damn. Pardon the captives for the money, we will always need it. And Imperial Pegasus for Theon, wasn't that lovely? And there we go, we got Beast Slayer. Also, another thought came to mind after the Galmaraz rant. I'm now just thinking that maybe, let's see, well, maybe the Galmaraz that you acquire in this quest is the fake Galmaraz, not the real Galmaraz. But anyway, just give this a quick read. With a massive Norscan force en route to Nordland's shores, the Emperor must show that his reign is one of military strength, that none should doubt the power of the Emperor. He must drive the Norscan army back into the Sea of Claws. Alrighty, swell. And yes, we got all that extra replenishment. We cannot go back into encamp stance. Oh, it's a little unfortunate considering he started in it, but I guess we can go into channeling and get a little bit more mana for ourselves, which isn't too bad. And you know what? Don't go beside Krugenheim. I was thinking it might be a good idea to go beside it so that we draw out the garrison, but if we don't, this guy might be more willing to attack us in the field, which I think would be better for us. You have your Pegasus, but you also have your Arcane Conduit, And anything else we want in here? We do use Wind Blast. Studious people might be useful. Winds of Magic, Power Reserve Capacity, plus 16. Okay, yeah, you know what? Let's go for Untapped Potential. The Power Reserve, if nothing else, should be quite useful. And frankly... Oh, Winds of Magic Reduction. Further Study. Nice as well. Now, there's definitely some nice stuff in here. And just gonna spam improved scrying techniques as best as possible. We should also probably get Sigmar's Ward, especially since you're on your Pegasus now. But being on your Pegasus also now means that you probably won't need the Potion of Toughness nearly as much, because you're not going to be so scared of actually getting attacked by anything. Pegasus is so fast at 125 that there's very few things that can catch it. Lovely. Okie dokie, now. What do we gotta do this turn? Gregor, you actually have a point as well, my friend. You can max out Pistol Core, and then we can go into Rally and Stand Your Ground as well. Beautiful. Faith's Bastion and Benediction would also be useful on this guy, but I think for now we can keep going through the not his own fighty tree. And oh, Helmguard's ready for another upgrade. I think this is not worth our time, though. It would give us, let's see, just out of curiosity. It would give us Clockwork Bombs, which would make it considerably more powerful, but the Garrison is actually exactly the same. So all it does is increase leadership slightly, a little bit more defensive supplies, and change to Clockwork Bombs. Unfortunate that it doesn't give any more better defenders. Oh, actually it does, never mind. We switch 3 swords to 3 great swords. Okay, never mind, that is actually quite a bit strong, but it's still very, very expensive. And I think with Altdorf coming up on tier 4, wherein we'll need to build the Colleges of Magic and then probably something else, but we should probably hold off on that for now. We'll probably build a Temple of Sigmar as well. Or the Cathedral of Sigmar, rather. I don't think we really care about a lot of the stuff that this gives, at least in this particular territory, but it's probably lorefully accurate to have one here. I mean, here we will have the Colleges of Magic, then we have the Imperial Palace, and oh, we'll only have room for one other thing. We could do a temporary Shrine of Sigmar, but then delete it in favor of the toll gates, which we will probably want here. And pretty much everywhere in the main settlement. But once again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, or we'll cross those toll roads or toll gates when we come to them. Peter and Co., you guys can continue sieging Blackstone Post, because I like what you're doing. And then, let's head to diplomacy for a second. Anything good here? Karakarak, minus 2.4, that's actually not bad. Let's try joining a war. Crooked Moon Mutinous gets, yes, 0.1, perfection. We'll do that. And then, on top of that, we will immediately build the outpost at Karakarak. Ah, yes. Now, just thinking about it, what dwarven units would we possibly want in our armies that might help? Our artillery is superior to theirs, so it's not going to be artillery. Flame cannons might be fun. Trollhammer torpedoes, quite useful. Iron drakes of both varieties, in fact, quite useful. And grudge rakers, maybe. Now, there's actually a bunch of dwarven engineer sort of stuff that we could definitely put into a nice army with our own handgunners and artillery and a bunch of craziness. And then maybe even combine it with some Kislevite stuff. Put a little Grom in there just for fun. Yeah, and you can't wait for that army as well. Wow, there's so many damn compositions I want to try. Let's see, anything else that we need to do this turn? I suppose just in case we could give you back the Reikland Runefang rather than having Peter hold it. Oh wait, also did Karl call the Drakewald Runefang the Reikland Runefang? When we were in the... When we were in the fight, I swear that he did. I think the game is confused. Maybe we're supposed to start with the Beast Slayer, but get the Reikland Runefang as a reward? Or maybe I misheard. I'm not sure. I gotta go back over the video and check. Anyway, I think we're ending the turn like this. You can just hold on to the Drakewald Runefang for now. Yeah, you like the magical attacks, but if we need it, if we run into ghosts, we'll have our... We'll have our Lord take care of it. And yeah, this also means that we really do need to try to acquire Lichbone Pennant for Karl. The Lichbone Pennant would allow him to have magical attacks at the same time as wielding Galmaraz. Outpost upgrade available, not going to spend the money on that. Same with the building upgrades, because there aren't really. Regular outpost available in Arguelon, oh yes. Do we want to spend the money on it now, or are we still saving? I feel like we're still saving. There's still probably a bunch of stuff that we'll be wanting to upgrade, so we'll skip it for now as well. Although... Ancient Treemen are quite ludicrously strong as well. But we probably won't have access to them for quite a while either. We could get Treekin, actually. And Treekin are incredibly good at holding the line, just shockingly good. But anyway. We'll give it a little time. Hey, Recruiter got Musterer, he's even better at recruiting. Now we need Bernhard to get Musterer as well, because he's been doing a lot of recruiting himself. Oh, I should have transferred the Militiaman over. You want us to join war against the Creeping Death. We will probably do this, but probably for something. Mostly because this faction is a one-off faction that's in the woods and they're no threat to us. And aha! It looks like these guys will indeed be attacking us, which I am grateful for. Should be another fun, whatever battle. I'm surprised that we're in Grassland here, considering we fought Vlad basically in the same location. But Grassland should be superior to the Light Forest, even though that Light Forest we fought on last time was pretty darn amazing. Anyway, we may still be hurt, so we do have to be careful here. Oh, if we could just steal that Lichbone Pennant, I would I'd be a happy camper. Here we go.
This is my command!
It's always your command. Alrighty, here we go. Pretty darn excited about this particular battle. It's a very decent amount of enemy units, and it looks like they're going to wait for their reinforcements as well. I do imagine this should actually be a tougher battle than the one against Vlad's, mostly because they aren't harmed by vigor loss, like Vlad was, and we in fact are. Plus they have a very decent command squad with lots of units, a pair of Crypt Cores, those 2 Banshees on the field, as well as 2 Lords, and of course a decent amount of Knights, a couple of Corpse Carts, or at least a Necromancer and a couple of Corpse Carts. Yeah, pretty excited about this one. We are, however, going to speed it up as we position ourselves and allow the enemy to move towards us. We'll also be encountering enemy Sylvanian crossbowmen as well, who will not disappear after the battle is over, assuming we don't chase them down. But hopefully we can gun them down with superior range fire. We are going to position ourselves in a fairly decent location, I think. This is a pretty damn solid place. If this was on a hill, it would probably be the best you could get. But effectively we have these 2 plateaux that are blocking us, and that will allow us to essentially block off this entire area, and then allow our crossbows and handgunners to fire through the gaps. We also have our 2 units of halberdiers and a reserve unit of greatswords to hold back the enemy if they try to loop around us, plus the Reiksguard as well, as the enemy does have the Black Knights with lances and barding X2, I want to say. So certainly something to be concerned about, but I'm sure that the halberdiers and the Reiksguard rather, could hold. Now, Karl is just hovering overhead right now so that he can spot the enemy army, as they are hidden behind this hill, and otherwise would not be visible to us. We would want our mortars firing this entire time, of course, though they're kind of wasting their shots right now against the Crypt Horrors. But there we go. Alrighty, and finally, the Crypt Horrors have moved close enough, which means they have to run into our guns, and 3 full units of halberdiers firing at them, plus the crossbow support, should see these guys pretty badly damaged pretty darn quick. And they're charging into handgunners. Oh no, man. Oh, those frickin' bordermen. You gotta watch out for them. I'd be a little bit more upset if this wasn't a summoned unit, but yeah. I really gotta start turning off their auto fire and just directly having them fire at stuff. Alrighty, fortunately it looks like this Crypt Horror unit is pretty much destroyed, and I'll trade a summoned unit of halberdiers that is inconsequential for a full unit of Crypt Horrors any day. We're also now going to switch all 3 units of handgunners to the 2nd unit of Crypt Horrors, who is moving back with their little bros, the Crypt Ghouls, over on this side. And the enemy is charging in with its command squad. The Lord, both Banshees, and the second Lord, the Strigoi, are all hitting our main line, and it looks like a Death Shriek, or whatever it's called, from the Banshees. Moving in to deal maybe some damage? I'm not entirely sure I remember what this does in SFO. Tomb Scream, short, wide, expanding tear-shaped attack, 0 armor-piercing damage, however, which is probably why it didn't do too much damage to our main units. It does, however, reduce melee attack, defense, and leadership, which I guess could be more of a concern. We are, however, going to pop the upgraded harmonic convergence on our Imperial foot here, and just to make sure that they survive a little bit longer if they're going to hold the main tide, and that gives them 214 armor, 89 melee attack, and 89 melee defense. These are some pretty damn obnoxious stats, and I'd like to think even against the Lords, they should be holding all a lot pretty well while they have that harmonic convergence. Otherwise, the rest of the main army is drawing closer. We are starting to suffer damage from the Sylvanian crossbows, and more enemy units are moving onto the field. Our gunners keep gunning, and our bordermen are actually firing at the enemy now. Though a little bit focused on zombies and skeleton spears, I think that works just fine. A wind going to go through the enemy right there, knocking down some zombies, probably doing more damage than in destroying any models, but that's just fine. Ah, glorious. Look at them trying to get through, and failing so far. This is a really, really nice piece of terrain that we lucked our way into. Poor luck for the enemy for trying to attack us here. And the bordermen just have free reign to fire into these massive blobs of enemies. And here's a first for this campaign, an overcast Comet of Cassandora going to be cast down upon these 3 units, 1 unit of Crypt Ghouls and 2 units of zombies, I believe, in one place. No, Skeleton Warriors, zombies, and Crypt Ghouls. Comet of Cassandora coming down. An expensive spell, but we finally have the mana to be able to cast it. There we go, that's a heck of an explosion. And it looks like it completely deleted all 3 units, completely clearing this flank of enemies. We could have dropped it in the center as well, but by clearing the flank, it will allow our greatswords to move around the flanks of the enemy and hit them in the sides. The enemy did also send 1 unit of Black Knights with lances and barding forward, but our Reiksguard are keeping them well back, especially together with these halberdiers, and as soon as they're done, we'll be able to loop around. The magic also continues as we cast an overcast Urnon's Thunderbolt upon the Black Knights that are moving in on this side. And there we go. It doesn't look like it killed too many models, but, well, actually, it's dropping a few. And there we go. Our handgunners and crossbows are also making mincemeat of the enemy Sylvanian crossbows, which are dying in the background. Karl has also joined the fray and has killed 1 of the enemy lords and is now working on the second. The Strigoi is down. Now we just have to kill the regular standard vampire lord. Now the Imperial Foot and the Sigmar Sons, or Sons of Sigmar, hold around him, so he's not worried about getting hit in the back, and the zombies certainly aren't all that much of a threat. Looks like he's done enough damage to the enemy lord to start on his disintegration as well, and he has dropped below 1/3 of his HP now. Very nice, very nice. And now those units that cleared out the flank are able to move in and support our units. The bordermen continue making absolute havoc on this flank. So we had magic clear one flank and grenades clear the other, while Karl held the center together with the buffs from the Brass Cleaver and the debuffs from the Helm of Discord from our Wizard. Our Wizard now going to drop down to fight some of those Banshees. Unfortunately, we don't have the magical attacks on Karl, so it will take him a while to get through this. And it looks like most of the enemy regular units have by and large been destroyed. We're going to switch targets now with our handgunners and crossbows towards those corpse carts, and necromancers just gotta knock them off the field, though it is taking some time. And it looks like it'll be best to just make sure that we kill the rest of the enemy units and charge the Rohirrim, I mean the Reiksguard here, into the back of those corpse carts, which should be done for. And as I was saying, it looks like it's better to just kill all of the enemy units and then leave the Banshees to disintegrate rather than even bothering to kill them. There we go, Karl moving right through those blobs of skeletons, unstoppable on Deathclaw, having 2 lords dead to his name or returned to the grave. Looks like the corpse carts are the last things on the field, and hey, mortars, stop that. And with that, the battle is ours. We held the pass. Certainly can consider it training for the Battle of Blackfire Pass. What, is there something else on the field? Oh, one of the units of Sylvanian crossbows was just running off the field. They're a close victory, apparently, but once again, I'm not sure we took all that much damage. Certainly we lost some HP, and certainly a few units were killed, but by and large I think it was ammunition-based, rather than actual damage-based, that makes this a quote-unquote close victory, but let's find out for sure. Ah, what a fun battle, though. Great battles this episode, I gotta say. Ah, not only was that a damn fine battle, but we did indeed get the Lichbone Pennant as a reward, so we can give it to Karl and enable his magical attacks. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We didn't take all that much damage either, 85 only. And that's considering we had vigor damage to us because we were in channeling stance. All that magic certainly helped out, however, giving Mr. Theon a 508 kills and 71, nearly 72k damage on him. Nearly 20k on the Imperial Foot as well, who held the center line absolutely bravely. 82k damage on the Bordermen. What a freaking ridiculous unit. They're, you know, they're kind of like Giselles in the Skaven campaign, where they're just so damn good, you probably want to consider putting one or two of them in every single army. And I guess the same thing goes for Hellstorm rocket batteries. If you put 2 Hellstorms and 2 Bordermen, or 1 or 2 Bordermen in every army in the Empire, you're already looking pretty darn good. But yeah, I'm really glad about that Lichbone Pennant, I gotta say. We'll take the money. We still need it. And it's not like the leadership reward, I honestly can't envision a situation where we would be taking the leadership reward, to be perfectly honest. And damn, I forgot to cancel the, cancel research before battles again. Well, I guess this technically isn't a battle, but you know what I mean. What is this and where is this? This is near, you are attacking Sylvania. Oh, did this guy actually sally an army out to kill these guys? Well, that's great. And we got a free Gleaming Pennant out of it. Area, Leadership +4, and Disciplined. Well, well, well. The Gleaming Pennant isn't trash anymore. That's shocking. Now let's get that free treasury. And thank you for the help, my friend. That's a swell thing to do. Border Princes, you want a non-aggression pact. The question is, do we want a non-aggression pact with you? You're actually in a defensive alliance with our friends Solland. How do Talzin feel about you, though? They don't like the fact that you're friendly with Angrand, but a non-aggression pact isn't that big of a deal. Let's go for... Yeah, let's go for non-aggression pact. Maybe we'll do military access later. We might get into a trade agreement with them, but frankly, there's a good chance they'll die. On the other hand, once we have the rest of the... You know what? No, I'm not gonna do this. I'm thinking now that once we have the rest of the Empire, we might actually attack the Border Princes and take them over. Since we can't confederate them and they have good territories. And they have salt, they have pastures, they have marble, they have... Well, technically Angrand has this, but hopefully somebody kills them. Or at least the territories that aren't in the mountains. They can have the mountain holds. I suppose if we take Karakazor from them, we can always trade it back to them. But anyway, I digress. Let's exit this. And say no thanks to you. And what is this? What is happening? And, oh, it's a quest for the Silver Seal. Alright, swell. Swell. I don't particularly remember what this quest is like. Oh, more undead. Okay, well, we'll definitely need magical attacks for this, which is why we're going to... political concessions or financial concessions? Recklessness and... Oh, I don't think we've read this one. Alright, let's give this a quick read. Your state troops had recently been participating in joint military drills with their counterparts in the Golden Order. Attending were some of the most junior or more junior members of your personal retinue, fresh-faced recruits handpicked for their warrior prowess, but still young and impressionable men. During a night of rest and recuperation in the Golden Order's capital, the men caused a drunken brawl that soon escalated into a minor riot. By dawn the next day, the damage had spread across large portions of the city and included the desecration of some state monuments. The behavior of your men has caused the Golden Order to look upon you extremely unfavorably. Dishing out harsh punishments may not be enough, and may take considerable resources to salvage things here. Considerable indeed. I feel in this particular situation we can give them the money. We just took money a bunch of times, A, and B, we are near to actually activating tier 10, so financial concessions. Alrighty, and then you got that recruiter bonus. Karl Franz got leadership and charge bonus. Mission aborted. Kill Boilrin. Why? I guess somebody killed him for us. Can't complain. And there's that Lichbone Pennant, and it looks like they're not going to attack Fort Bergray. Oh well. Potion of Speed for Bernhardt, though I don't think he needs that. Now... Well, I guess actually, now I guess we're out of time. Yeah, there's some great battles this episode, and is this a Silver Seal right beside us? Huh. We could walk to it without teleporting if we really wanted to, which is interesting. We're also healing for quite a bit right now, so if we take this out and take out the forces in Needling, and give it back to, I believe this is Stirland? Yeah, this is Stirland. That would be quite nice. Alrighty, well, things are going well so far, and they will probably continue going well until we get another front opened up and start having to be on the back foot defending it, but that'll probably be at least some time from now. I'm also seeing one problem here. Grungzint has a rebellion coming. I wonder, will a faction get revived? I also wonder, would this faction get revived here? You know what, we shouldn't attack this until the rebellion is done here. It would actually be quite nice to take Grungzint, but I'm not entirely sure that the rebels can or cannot take it. We shall see next time. Speaking of next time, we will be advancing further southward into Sylvania, and we will be moving Wolfram Custerman's reinforcing army to Karl, which should be fairly quick. Looks like it'll take about 3 turns to get there, especially in march stance. Give Karl all this fancy new stuff, including a second unit of Imperial Foot and Bordermen and another unit of Reiksguard, plus Karl will be able to get the Silver Bullets, who I now am thinking we should have probably gotten here, because you can't recruit them in friendly territory, can you? Even in, wait, can you do it in camp? No. We cannot.
In the name of Magnus.
Which means we should probably take out another troop. Oh man. Well, anyway, we'll figure that out next time as we go, plus continue having nice little fights against the Sylvanians until all of the provinces are ours. Stay tuned for more Empire. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.